Recording in progress. Oh, are we doing all from the beginning?
In the Pop Culture Cupid podcast, we talk about how pop culture influences our expectations in relationships. I'm Alison, love coach, here to help you single people find your way back to love.
Healthy communication. I'm Michelle. I help singles embrace themselves and their singleness, as well as develop a healthy self-relationship. We bring some juicy stories from our own love lives and dating, and it gets pretty interesting. Be focused, we're gonna be to the point, and no digressing.
Self-awareness. Follow, share, subscribe, enjoy.
And like and comment.
If it's shockingly bad, we just re-record another one.
Yeah. No, I think there's some good stuff that you can just nitpick.
Okay.
Recording in progress. Hello.
This is a very under the weather.
Yes, congested episode. But, fun times.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, we won't let it, hold us back.
Yeah, so we are, I don't know where we are posting wise. I know that I need to upload some videos. But we are recording our reaction to the Loveisblind reunion.
Yeah, and the weddings technically, because we haven't reacted to that. But that was kind of like,
Yeah, I mean,
weddings are always
meh.
meh.
I don't know that they're meh usually, but this one particularly so, because like the two couples that got married, we knew they were going to get married, and
Yeah.
there was like the 15 minutes of Marissa and Ramses drama at the beginning, and then that was it.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like, I can't even remember what happened. I'm just like, I watched it happened, and I'm like, already forgot it. But
Yeah. Well, Marissa and
it is what
Ramses
it
broke
is.
up, and that's what it is.
Yeah, true. Not
Because
surprising at all.
Because previously some weddings in previous seasons, like you didn't really know if they were going to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Like they got all the way to the altar and then some people said no. Whereas here, there was only going to be Ramses and Marissa that we didn't think they were going to say yes, and they ended up breaking up beforehand.
Yeah.
So it was just uneventful. And I mean, Ramses is never, I think, this is horrible. And this is congested, hormonal, tired, Alison speaking. I'm just like, I think he's never going to find love.
Oh, well, not with that attitude. I feel like when you're only thinking about what you want and what's best for you, and you don't want to be uncomfortable at all, then yeah, because love is thinking about someone else, and love is being uncomfortable sometimes, and love is not always perfect and not always, butterflies and rainbows and pink skies. It's about not sacrifice, but like about like making compromises and being there for another person and not only being there on your term.
Yeah,
So
it's, I often reflect on this kind of topic about, you want to be thinking about yourself, and then you want to, I'm just looking at myself and I'm just so big.
no, you're actually not that big considering you're pregnant.
Yeah, well, thank you. But I'm feeling, when it gets to a point where you can't really bend over as easily anymore,
Yeah.
and my breasts have just exploded. I don't know if you
Well,
can tell, but I'll send you a picture afterwards. On that picture, it's anyway, whatever.
but they look great, and that's what matters.
Thank you.
And I'm sure JT is enjoying every moment of it.
Yeah, JT is happy. Hopefully my son will be able to feed properly. I'm not carrying these things around for nothing,
Well, they will go down eventually, but
yeah, but hopefully not before that he's had his fill. Anyway.
We're digressing. Oh my
We're
God.
digressing already. It's been like a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Sorry. So, yeah, on how on I often reflect on, you want to be thinking about yourself, and I think we both agree on, you want to make yourself a priority.
Yeah.
But let's say if you have let's speak in fucks to give. If you have 100 fucks to give, the majority of fucks want to be given to yourself. But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean 100, and it doesn't mean 51, and it doesn't mean 50. It means if you're going to give them out, make sure that you've got one extra than whatever comes second. Um, and I think that some people have gone so much into I need to make myself a priority that they are forgetting that if they want to live in a community and in society and in partnership, then they also need to give some leeway to people around them.
Especially if you want other people to also make you a priority, because that's at the end of the day what a relationship is. Also, well, also in friendships a lot of times, but like specifically in romantic relationships, when you're with someone and you want them to make you a priority, you also need to make them a priority as well. I
Yeah,
mean, if you want to get that kind of like treatment and have someone be good to you and be good for you and be there for you and support you, whatever it is, it's a give and take at the end of the day. And
yeah,
prioritizing someone else is also a way to prioritize yourself because you're getting something out of it at the end of the day. And it's just part of being in a relationship and part of being in life. You can't, yes, obviously you have to take care of yourself first and foremost. You have to prioritize yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. But part of life is also
yeah,
being there for other people and also thinking of other people and understanding that it's never going to be exactly
a
how you
hundred
want
percent
it.
for you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, and Ramses is, it's good for you for putting yourself first,
Mm-hmm.
but then the reasons why you're like he was saying stuff along the lines of so wishy-washy of just I understand like the what he was saying about like each other's energy and everything, and I was but the way that it happened was so out of the blue, and the way Marissa took it so harsh, I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, you and then the way he addressed the whole comments about the contraception and things like that, I was like, you're just digging yourself a hole here. You know, you want to put yourself, he only wants to have his need met. He only
Yeah.
wants to have his needs met. Um, which is just
Yeah.
it's
When I was watching the reunion, I wrote down that he's stuck in I.
yeah,
Every every sentence that comes out of his mouth is just focused on I words. Like
yeah,
I'm this and I'm that and I feel this and I feel that and I didn't want, I did want. And I'm like, yes, it's important, but there's another person here. And you can't only think about yourself once you have another person in the mix. There's nothing you
yeah,
can do about it. You chose to go in this experience, experiment, whatever you want to call it, and you decided to take part in it, to couple up with her. And as soon as you did that, you agreed to also take her into consideration and her feelings
yeah,
and understand that now, yes, you're still an individual, but you're also a unit, and that has to come into play. And I just felt like instead of having conversations with her, he was having them with himself and just deciding with himself what's best for him. Because he could have told her much earlier. He even said that he had the doubts, but he didn't want to bring it up because he wasn't sure what would come of it, that it was even something. But at the end of the day, that's how you prevent these things from happening, for good and for bad. You talk about things as they come up when there's still a little spark and not when they're already this big fire that's hard to
yeah,
tame. And if you have spoken to her about it first, not only would it have looped her in and showed her that you're in there and you care about her and you want her to to understand where you are and also not lying to her about it. But also, it gives you a chance to discuss it before it becomes a huge, big thing. And it gives her a chance to understand where you are and not be surprised and blindsided when it's already way down the line and she's already much more invested.
Especially like as everything in his behavior led to, everybody thinking, well, not everybody, because, only Marissa seemingly, but whatever. His
Yeah.
behavior led to, thinking that this was on the right track because of what he was saying and
Mm-hmm.
what he was doing. And it reminded me of what I got broken up with years ago. This guy had been had been amazing the whole time, and given me gifts and been very attentive and just been really cool up until the day we were supposed to go on a road trip. And on that day, like, he just was a no-show, and I didn't hear from him, and he wasn't texting
Mm.
me back. And at this point, like, we had been dating for 6 months. Like, this wasn't,
Wow.
yeah, this wasn't like just, a couple of months and it fizzled out. Like, this was, we were 6 months in. And and then he showed up and we had a conversation and we ended up breaking up. And he was like, I've been having doubts for like a week and a half or something, you know,
Yeah.
which is a decent amount of time, over 6 months. If you've been having doubts for a week, it's all right. But his whole behavior during that time was completely, he, as I said, he'd given me gifts, he'd been calling me, texting me, he'd been so attentive. He'd slept over at
Mm-hmm.
my place, he'd asked me to come over at his. He'd been saying things like, I miss you, things like that. And then he does this really dickhead move and then says, I've been having doubts, and then we break up. And I was like, that you I'm not saying you need to ease me into it. I'm saying that, words need to match what you feel, and actions and things like that. And this, I was just like, when then, he said, I didn't want to hurt you. And I was like, well, the more you build me up, the harder I'll fall. As if
Yeah.
you started having doubts and then were pulling back and things like that, then it would make sense. But this just doesn't make sense. And that was the same for Andres.